Hey guys, welcome to another video. Let me mute this in the background so that I'm not getting copyright. So we are going to do a sketchbook tour. I finally finished this sketchbook. This is technically it's not Sketchbook 2, but I titled it Sketchbook 2 because I have another one like this. I don't know if I did a sketchbook for the other one. I don't know, but I do have a third one already ready to go. I marked it and have the start date inside of it. So I've only done one page. I just started this today. But I finished this a few days ago. So, of course, start date was August 24th of 2025. I finished it June 11th of 2026. Sticker wise, this one and this one are by the same artist, but I don't know who the artist is. I forgot. Crap. They do a lot of the art market because that we have down here is called the Goblin Market. They are usually there. I forgot their name though, but I'm pretty sure these are by the same person. This one, I got this at a Goblin Market, I think, as well. I don't know who the artist was. Dang. But yeah. And then this one was by a drink stand that's at the Goblin Market, and then these were this one, and this one were from a sticker book that my grandmother gave me. So I never do anything on the exact first page just because of how it is kind of I guess glued into the book or whatever. So I usually just use it as a table of contents to kind of give me an idea of what is in the sketchbook that I have. So yeah, just kind of going through some stuff real quick. Mannequin work, some thumbnails. This was a practice on working on, I think, armored figures. And I think I was gonna try to do 100 within the sketchbook, and then I was just like to try to do 100. I may maybe do it over a period of time, but within the sketchbook, to try to do all of them within the sketchbook was not going to happen. So this was 1 out of 100. I feel like the proportion was wrong, but I think I did the proportion when I lined everything up, and I think it was proportioned. I think just because of the way the armor was sitting, because like here's the hips, like mid hips here, and then chest areas here, head areas here, navel. Where's that? The navel. I think the navel would have been here. Probably give or take. No, I think the hips would have been a little bit lower. I can't really tell because of the armor sitting on top. I think the crotch area was like here. And then I think the navel was like here. I'm kind of guessing, like I said, because I don't have the outline underneath. I think the chest line is like here. So I think it's pretty proportioned, and then the knees were somewhere like around here, and then of course like the foot. So I think it's proportioned. I think I just, because it's a full figure and I'm not used to really drawing a lot of full figures, it looked unproportioned to me. Because honestly, because when I looked at this later on, I thought the head was a lot smaller than what it needed to be, but it's actually the right size. This was figure 2. I did reference the pose from a pose pack that I have, and I just added the stuff over it. Is I wanted to be like if this character was like against like a wall, like this was a wall here, and they were waiting for someone to come behind it. or come from around it. But like I didn't want to do everyone in like heavy armor. Like I wanted to work on like clothes, like the folds. This particular I was dealing with like how the sword might rest, and this was all from reference. This like the pouch, how it would sit on the belt, how the belt would like intertwine, and then like this guy had scars from just previous stuff. This was 3. I was working on chainmail. That was like the main focus here, and then somewhat of the helmet. And then this was texture practice here, and then really understanding that I can really go really dark in the shadow areas when needed. I counted this 4 and 5. This was also from the same pose pack that I got from this creator. This was originally a female, and you could tell with probably the face, but with armor that I put on there, because I wasn't really doing an indicator of like, hey, like she's got a chest like it's. I wanted to make it really look like it was for protection, so it was probably going to be compressed here. I wanted to do like a scale type situation with like the fur around the leg armor, the thigh armor. Then I gave like in the shoulder armor, and then chest armor, dealing with different references and how that would look. And then the belt here, and then I did like throwing knives down here. So that was 3 and 4. And then after that, started working on some stuff here. So this was actually a test run for, what the heck is it? Do I have it? The heck is it? Hold on. Where is? Now I'm gonna have to find it, because where the heck did it go? Oh my gosh, where is it? Oh my goodness, I don't know where it's at. Okay, so I don't know where it's at, but I was doing like little cards. I don't want to say that like they're not art trading cards, but they're about the same size. But I was doing these, and I plan on still finishing these out. I want to do like 50 of them. I think I want to do 50. I think I might have put maybe, yeah. So I want to end up doing 50 because this is 7 out of 50. So I want to do 50 total of these, and then probably end up selling them. At least a good chunk of them anyway. Because here's some of the other ones I did here. I've showed these in previous videos. This is the second ghost I've done. I don't know where the other ones are, but the reasons I have these is because I had these hanging up at my desk at work. So instead of having them just against the straight paper, I had put these in protective sleeves and put the tape on the back of them. I don't know where the other cards are though, which is a little irritating, because I generally don't know where the other cards are. I'm gonna see if I can find these other cards, because that's gonna irritate me a little bit. Hold on. Okay, I'm a little disappointed because I cannot find the other ones that I did of this. And I know I put them somewhere where I figured I wouldn't lose them. And now I can't locate them, which is very disheartening because I put a lot of effort into those. And now I can't locate them. I thought I put them in my art desk, but I'm not there. Dang, that really sucks. I don't know where I would have put them. Oh, I think I put them actually in my, let's check my I'm gonna check real quick to see if they might be in my portfolio. I don't think I would have put them in there, but you never know nowadays. I think I really did have some really good books. There's some really good pages that came out really good. And my comic, as far as the line art goes, it came out really good. I don't know where the hell I put those freaking cards at. And it is very disheartening. Well, maybe one day if I find them again, I will show you guys. Dang, that really does suck. Okay. Anyway, yeah. That was one of the designs that I was kind of sketching out. And then did some study on some armors here, was working on proportions, and then using those proportions to create different characters. Specifically, this is like an orc or something like that. This was 6 for the armor. Once again, I think for me, I was really paying attention to the belt here, and then how you would overlay a plate of armor over underlay of armor, and like the layers that would probably go into the armor. And I think what else was I trying to learn from here? I think it was like the belt here. When it comes to like the thigh, the thigh armor, this probably would have been like a leather that would have been sewn into this type of belt. And then how the shoulder armor would move with the arms moving. So, as you can see, this is face stuff. This is something that you will, I think, see a lot in all of my sketchbooks. I tried to perfect the face a little bit more. Work on the face still. This was more of the angle here. This was breaking down the planes of the nose. More planes of the nose. I feel like the nose was giving me a lot of issues at this point. Trying to make it look right, especially from different angles. And specifically, I think what it was I was working on drawing females and trying to make the nose look correct without looking like it didn't belong on the face. So elf, looking at the pectoral muscles here. I think I was good. I liked this design that I had for the female nose at the time. Working with changing the face shapes. Coming up with ideas for characters down here. And how I think I was really experimenting with how the elongation of the face can make a character feel older or younger. In some cases, not all cases, but in some cases, using boxes to help lay out someone's car, laying out boxes in perspective to kind of help get the angle of certain body parts, like the head and stuff. This is another armor study here. More face stuff, looking into how the shoulder or the back of the arm would look when you're, of course, viewing it from the back. This is for a card design that I did for a nonprofit. This is more designs for trying to figure out what the card was going to look like. Now, excuse me, at one point I decided to do a 30-day dragon challenge because I really wanted to get better at drawing dragons. Excuse me. So I was going to try for 30 days to try to draw some type of dragon from imagination. And I didn't get too far because I think at one point I realized like my visual library was really lacking. But I tried to do the best that I could. So this was day 1. Day 2 here, because I did date them so I could keep track of the days. So this was day 2. I practiced I looked up a skeleton reference for a lizard to kind of get an idea of if I'm doing like a lizard-esque type dragon. This was day 3. I did not draw that back arm. At this point, I was also trying out shading. This dragon apparently didn't have any teeth. This was day 4. I wanted to give it more of a bird-esque type feel. These were supposed to be feathers. Did not work out too well on that. I think I would have been happy with the beak if the bottom beak wasn't as wide. But this was like from a penguin study, that just like the shape of it. It's working with like the skeleton and how I can make a elongated neck and still make it look right. This was day 5, I think, something like that. When I did this dragon, I wanted to make it more of like a herbivore type-esque, so that's why like it's got the bigger eyes, it's got like the antlers, and then like there's even leaves within the side part versus like horns. And this was supposed to be fur, which I did a horrible job at. These are some other ones. Yeah, these straight trash. But they were the best that I could do for the most part, with a lot of it just being from memory and just really experimenting. A lot of this was experimenting and kind of seeing what I could do and trying to push myself to create more unique dragons. This stuff is from the How to Render book. It's funny, when my friend saw this, when my buddies that I play Pathfinder with, when she saw this, she was like, do you not like know perspective? And I was like, this is dealing with like light and stuff like that. Like, it's not like it's, of course perspective takes is a part of it, but I was like, it's more focused on how shadows are created for certain things. So I think when people just look at this, they think of perspective, but it was actually dealing with light and shadow. So this I was studying, and as you can see through most of the sketchbook, everything is mainly on the right side versus the left side. I didn't really care too much to draw on the left side, and that'll kind of be through most of my sketchbooks, I think. Even though I think there are sketchbooks where I've tried to draw on both, and it just felt awkward drawing on the left side. Maybe on the new sketchbook, I'll try to do both pages, front and back. So yeah, studying the bone structure of like a cat or something. And then even like the skull and the shoulder blade, trying to figure out how that would work. And the muscles. This is supposed to be another attempt of a dragon. That's a lot of space I did not use, but whatever. But I was trying to do work on, I think with this one in particular, I wanted to test out how to draw multiple eyes, as well as getting the texture of scales, like from a lizard. It didn't work out too well, but you know, experimenting. This one, I wanted to really play with that elongated neck and still make the creature look correct. I do actually like how this one came out, the face. I genuinely do like how this one came out. I would probably like to take this one and expand it. I'm not sure if this was a study from something, I don't know, but I would like to take this and do something with that. Tried to draw something here, and I was sketching it out, and I was just like, yeah, that is not gonna go right. This was more, I think I was trying to figure out what style I liked here, like tone versus actually like, or I think it was like dealing with my comic, because I was trying to figure out like, oh, I could do like, if I do my comic, I could do something like this, or if I'm doing like an illustration where I can do like where it's really rendered out and the lines are smooth, like smooth transitions from dark to light and stuff like that, versus like more of like a tonal effect. Understanding. So this exercise, I forget where I got this exercise from, but it's from YouTube. What you would you would look at a pose and study it visually. Then you would close the book or turn the image or whatever. You would make it so where you couldn't see the image, and then you would try to draw it from memory. And then what you would do is you would flip the image back over, look at the image again, and you would make notes on where you needed to correct in the image. And then what you would do is you'd turn it back over, and you wouldn't look at the one that you did previously. So you would cover this one up too, plus the image, and you would draw what you learned to correct everything. And then after you feel like you got everything, you would turn the original image over, and you would study your mistakes again. And then you would cover the images that you drew. So I would cover this up. Then the image that I was referencing, I would turn that over so I wouldn't see it, and then I would draw it again from memory, and then flip everything back over and study what I got wrong from the image, and then just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So yeah, that's how I did that. And I became really decent at it. I wish I would have did more with that. I just did one particular pose on that, but honestly, I might continue to do that particular exercise for other things, because instead of drawing the image from reference and then closing and then turning it over and then drawing it from imagination, you're literally really trying to pay attention visually to the image, and then you completely turn the image over so where you're not seeing anything, and you have to draw that from memory as best you can. Because even when I did this first one, when I went back into the second, I was like, oh, I forgot to do the freaking lats. Like, I didn't put the lats in this one. I wasn't quite sure how the arm was looking when I did that. So like I was able to study the areas where I needed to, and like look at when I looked at this first image compared to my reference, I was able to like, oh yeah, I forgot the underarm here, or the arm here, I forgot the lats. I needed to correct that. There's so many things I was like, okay, I know what I need to fix, so let's go ahead and work on the second image. So yeah. This was supposed to be like a tiger inspired dragon. Did not work out at all. Straight trash, but whatever. This was thumbnails for an illustration that I actually did. And the illustration is, oh, I found them. Look at that. Okay. Well, I did find the other cards. I did put them in one of my portfolios. Just not the one I thought I did. So this image here is from the thumbnails here. And then these are the other cards that I did. So I don't know where the pumpkin's at though. I could have sworn I did a pumpkin. Maybe I didn't do a pumpkin. I was going to. So this I did acrylic gouache because I wanted to see how that would work. Wasn't a big fan of it because I couldn't get it to like lay flat, but that's because I'm not good with acrylic gouache yet. I have not really done anything with acrylic gouache, so it's more of the user versus the actual material. Looking back on this, I've kind of done a lot more. I could have done things differently. Like I could have really darkened up the darks here and stuff like that. But I didn't. Actually, there's the pumpkin. There we go. But if I ever want to go back here and maybe redo one of these, I could really focus on making these darks a lot darker. And I think that's something I've been working with, is not being afraid to go dark in my shadows. It's something I really struggle with. So it's something I really want to work on when I do my images. I was practicing roots, and I think that was from a reference, like this top part here, because it was a rock that was growing like on a cliff, and it was really cool how it was looking. Studying the eyes. I feel like when I draw characters, the eyes, because I feel like they are expressive on top of everything else, I feel like it's something that I continually strive to improve on, and I'm never really happy with that. So it's something I continue to work on regularly. I was studying the form of like shoulder armor and how that would work, and I of course make notes. This I was studying large cats, and I was looking, like I really want to make a tiger or a big cat inspired dragon without, like, I know you have like your normal stuff that you might see on Pinterest and Google. I was like, I really want to draw like a big cat inspired dragon and make it look like a dragon and an actual big cat. But how can I do that? And I know that I was struggling in the department of understanding what makes a lion or a tiger or whatever, these big cats, look the way they do. So I really took the time to like study like the shape of the head and like a simple form, and then laying the details, the line work over that simple form, and then detailing out that line work. How the nose might look from like a 3/4 view, the muscles underneath, and how underneath the skull, and how everything lays into fits into the skull, and like especially like the cheek area where there's that muscle there, and like the indent here, like the form of like the mouth area. I was studying bird skulls to get a better idea of like the bird skull and what makes up a bird, and what like those defining characteristics of a bird skull. So I did like the basic shapes, and then from the basic shapes, I took the basic shape and then carved the skull into those basic shapes. And then I was even paying attention to like, this is the Atlantic puffin bird, or just the Atlantic puffin, and I was like, when I look at this bird, what's unique about the bird? And for me, it was like this little area here at the end of the beak, and then also this design that it has around the eyes were like the main characteristics for me. And then of course the basic shapes for the tiger face, did the same thing that I did for the lion. And then I even did like how differentiating the lion and the tiger, there are certain things, like certain characteristics outside of like the fluffier mane, and of course the print or the fur. Tigers have more of a slope, I don't even know how to say it, more of a smooth slope when it comes to their head, versus I think the lion has a little bit more of a brow than the tiger does. And then of course the nose, there's differences there as well. And then I was looking at how the spine connects to the back of the skull, especially when it comes to drawing the lion or a cat from the backside. Looking into that. These were from references. And what I did with the references is I literally broke it down into a basic shape, and then went back and added like more line work to kind of get a better idea of that. This was from studying some stuff off, I think, Pinterest for map making, for when I do my world building. Trying to, no, this is, or Asian coot is a bird. This was from reference. And I try to take that information that I've learned from the lion, the birds, and everything like that, and try to come up with a dragon design. It did not, of course, come out great. Of course, so you can see this is from the puffin bird here with that design around the eyeball. And I think I was rushing because I was like, let me just go ahead and get this done because I needed to get something done quick. And I was just like, I don't care. There wasn't even really an under sketch with that. I was just had a pen. I was like, I just need to get something done. Of course, with the long neck, I was like, what better bird to study for, but the ostrich, because the ostrich has a long neck, which connects to like this bigger, thick body. And so I really wanted to study how that bird looks and how the body seems to really fit there and the skull and stuff like that. So I really studied, well, not really studied, but kind of got an idea, did a reference study here, laying out the basic shapes and the form. And then this was the eagle study here. And what surprised me with the eagle study with this one was the, I'm sorry, Seven's chewing on his bone. But the eye area and the way the fur, or I guess it's like fur, feathers, whatever, around the eyes look, because it's not what I was expecting. Drawing the cat from different views. This one I was like, I need to find a system that works for me. And this was something that worked for me with the altered square rectangle versus like this or like the circle. Really wasn't a huge thing for me. So sometimes you have to figure out what works for you. And sometimes one might work over the other depending on the angle. This one I was using more of this altered triangle with the front front cutoff type area, and this worked for this particular pose and even this pose, but like this would not really work for me if I was doing something like this angle. So I was even looking into if I did like a perspective and how I would make that try to work, things like that. This particular bird, I forgot the name of the bird, but I like the feathers that stuck out from the head. I thought that was pretty cool. And then set down here, I was trying to study the elongation of if I did this on a tiger body. Because I think what it was when I was trying to do the tiger-esque dragon was that I wanted it to have a cat-like body with this elongated neck. And I just think that with that, it just wasn't going to work with the head size, the neck size, and the body size. It's something that I'd probably have to do. If I were to do this looking back now, I feel like I would have to do something like the ostrich. I think I studied the long neck on this one. I think that's why this bird was being studied, was the long neck connecting to the body. I would probably have to do something where the head would be small, you know, the elongated neck, and then a large body. If I were to do something like that with the tiger, because I even tried that and I was like, it's not looking right, and I could not figure out why. And then I think this was actually a study from a cat-like dragon that I had found on Pinterest. And I just did like a basic, was it? I think so. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't know with this one. But then I was like, you know what? Does it necessarily have to have this elongated body of the dragon? Or can I do something where it is more like a cat, and then I can add maybe dragon-esque features to it? So still to this day, I never figured that out when I was doing all of this. Figuring out how you would draw the cat from like a 3/4 front view. This I was working on rendering and like those hard shadows and stuff like that. So that's where this is all from. That's where this is from as well. And see, as you can see, like I was really trying to push those dark areas here and here, and looking back I could have gone a lot darker, And even here I was trying to push those darks, but I really wasn't understanding how to put darks against like either lights or mediums, or like medium-esque tones. So I'm still working on the how to render book to help me with that. This was like practicing a stance. I think this was from a reference. It was specifically more the female figure. This was the hip to chest ratio when it came to the male and the female. Even the chest or the rib cage area, if you look on certain drawing sites, they even have the way they draw the male cages might be a little bit different from the female cage. And I wanted to line it up as much as possible to make sure that I had the proportions correct. Because for me, when I'm looking at this, the female chest, I think, is actually about the same width, but it looks a lot bigger or a lot longer, even though it's not. But I think it's because this cuts up, the way this cuts up, and because of the way the hip goes out, and this part, because this goes down a lot lower, with the hips being a little bit lower, makes it look like this is larger for me. So that was something I needed to kind of keep in mind. That the hips do kind of go in a little bit and kind of go out. That's not with everyone or every female, but something to be mindful of. I was doing cat studies here, specifically with the shoulder blade of the cat. I think that was the links that I had referenced here. I think it was the pose and the basic shapes. Studying the cat foot and how it looks on certain poses, standing, running, crouching to jump, front one extended out if it was running, female figure. This was from Steven Zapata. One of his exercises was the box figure. So there's that. I was doing more of that, and these are all from imagination with these poses. More study of a tiger-esque body, but I had that dragon-esque type tail. More studies of cats. This was from Aaron Blaze, because I do have his How to Draw Big Cats course. And I've worked through a good chunk of it, so I was able to pull this from the drawings that I had done that were on his, or that I had pulled, whatever, either the reference that he had for download within the course, or from my own drawing with the follow along. This was from an actual reference of a cat. It was actually from a picture, and when I broke it down and actually looked at it, it was because, with the fur and everything like that, sometimes, the fur kind of blends in with certain areas, so it's kind of hard to kind of tell what's what. So I really have to really pay attention, but it surprised me to really see how massive and long the torso is for these big cats. Because I was always drawing the torso a lot smaller and narrower. But these are huge cats. These are cats that, weigh 500 plus pounds. I think, right? I think that's right. Let me search. How much does a tiger weigh? A male tiger can weigh up to almost 700 pounds, and a female can weigh up to almost 400 pounds. So these are massive animals, and they need to look like they are massive animals. Hair study on this one and on this one. Even though I did draw the faces, I really wasn't too concerned about the faces, more so the hair. I was studying bird claws. This was actually I got from a reference from a book that I have, the big book of the big bird encyclopedia book that I have. I was really trying to work with the tiger situation here. This one didn't work out. I felt like the head was too small. I even made a note, make the head larger. And then I did do that. And then with the fur, I feel like it made it a lot better. Studying more birds to get a better feel for that. Still playing with the cat dragon here. So yeah, more studies. I even looked into the horse. The head of the basic shape of a horse head to kind of get an idea of that as well. Once again, playing with more sketches here. More sketches. That was more of a bird here, more of a bird type. And I think I was also playing, so not only was I playing with the animal that I was referencing, also playing with the shape of the head. And of course with that beak, you can tell it was immediately a bird here. This would be more of like a herbivore type-esque dragon. And these, of course, would be more predator-like. I did not like this at all. The pose was fine, because I referenced the pose. But whatever I had going on here, with the face and the horns, it trash. Try to draw one that was like standing up like a humanoid, trash. I think I tried to do that here as well, trash. So, you know, I do like this. I wish I would have flushed this out a little bit more. So maybe I might do that later on down the road. I probably would change this part here, the snout area. But I feel like for the most part, I was actually kind of happy with the design. Not necessarily the finished product, but the design I did like. This was more from the How to Render book. With this one, I was practicing if I added colored pencil over my pencil line, my blended pencil line, how that would look. I did not like it, so that was a no-go on that. This here, I was practicing like how soft edges and hard edges can change the shape, the way a shape looks. I'm looking to do a painting of a woman for my wall in my living room. So I was looking into studying poses and how I could do this particular pose. So I was really studying did like sketches, and then like how the arm would look. Like I think this one in particular was like the weight distribution, how I was going to do the leg and stuff. I felt like I didn't have a lot of gesture into the image, so like I was trying to work that out, trying to see how the muscle here would look with that arm raised, even like if the head was turned, trying to figure all that stuff out, and like was working with the weight distribution here. I didn't like it. If I did something like this, I would have to put this leg, but I think under the figure more, even though this one was kicked out. Still working on more of the pose here. This was more from the How to Render. This I was looking at actual outfits on how I would have the figure. I think that was one design that I did like. I did find a few more that I liked, so I was going to work on experimenting on that. I was looking into proportions with here. Once again, here we go again with the female and the male rib cage. This was from a tutorial that I followed along with. I think his name is Bobby something, but he has a channel called Draw Session on YouTube, and I liked his rendering style, so I did a follow along on his rendering, and I took that from what I've learned when I did this and started applying it to my own stuff. So this creature I actually need to redraw, and it's going to end up being a creature that my group, is going to face off in our next Pathfinder session. So I did a combination of creatures here. I had kind of like these spider-esque type claws here at the bottom, or I think praying mantis, whatever, I forgot what I used. But then I have the camel spider jaws, as you can see there. And then the back side here, because it was going to like drag on the ground, like it's kind of like dragging it across the ground. I think I either referenced some type of termite or like a ant. And then I was going to have it with wings, even though they wouldn't be functional wings, but it would have wings, and then these would be like little hairs, like they're not spikes, but actually just like hairs. And then I was looking at how to do pulled skin, because I did this from imagination with this part. So I was trying to figure out how to do pulled skin. And I get to the point where I just pulled a reference. So I do have reference on my phone for that, like scar tissue and like pulled skin, to kind of get a better idea on how I would do the rendering when it comes to that. Did more dragons here. These I'm actually pretty happy with. So I did a lizard study. I did the basic shape first, did the basic shape into turning that into what the study was. I took the study and broke it down on what it would be. And then I took this from what I've learned from here and then tried to create a dragon based off what I learned from this. Same thing with this guy. I actually pulled a reference from it's a toad. I forget what type of toad it is, but it has these actual horned appendages, I guess, that kind of look like, but they're more over the eye. And I wanted to take that aspect of it. I did like that feature of the frog and wanted to incorporate that into the design. And then this one, I wanted to have like this more like burly type dragon, like a dragon that most likely is not going to fly, but something like almost like this huge like rhino-esque type dragon. And then these would be like sensors, maybe like hearing. Maybe this is how it hears. I'm not sure. I was just kind of like, I saw a moth and how the antennas look, and I liked that design. So I wanted to incorporate that into the design of the dragon. Alligator, baby crocodile, I don't freaking know. Basic shapes, then redrew this, and then did the detail work on top of it, and then took this and created this. I liked the design. I did not like how the markers worked on top of it, because there's the pencil work underneath, and then I went and added marker on top of it, and it was water based, but the colors I got were the colors that I had available were too dark, and I think that's what really kind of messed up the lighter tones. I think if I would have had a lighter tone for the lighter areas, it would have been fine with that dark being as dark as it is, because those are the shadows. But that light tone, I think, was too dark and kind of messed it up for me. So as much as I like the design, I do not like the coloring of it. And then all of this here was from a fantasy map making book that I was learning from. So it's pretty much just following the tutorials, kind of figure out how all that stuff is made. I am doing a one-shot with a group of people that I did the design for the card that's back here somewhere. Where is it at? I did finish the card, like they've got it in print and everything already, but I'm trying to find, oh my gosh, bruh. So when I started like the design, the group that I did all this for, we're gonna do a one-shot, and everyone's gonna play as a cat. So I'm gonna do custom character sheets and print those out, so that way whatever character they play as, they can go ahead and take that home at the end of the night. This is more stuff from the book. This is another creature that I did. I am gonna end up redrawing this creature. because I want the top to look more of like a mushroom, and this was strictly from imagination. So I really didn't have much to go on because I didn't have like Pinterest on my, I don't have Pinterest on my phone or anything like that. And I wasn't gonna pull up my phone to look up like a mushroom, so I was like, I'm just gonna do it freehand, and then I can always go back and change it because it's just a sketch. But this is going to end up being a creature, another creature that my group is going to face at some point in time down the road. Now, the one that they face will not be as big because you can see the scale. So the one that they'll probably end up facing when they do face it will probably be like, if this is the creature here, this will be like a regular human height here. It'll probably be like the height of a human, give or take. So it was funny because I told them that from going forward, from the last session that I had, that any huge major bosses and or creatures that they're going to face are going to be custom made. So all the designs and stuff will be from me creating them, and then I will have to, for myself, I will have to draw a full-on illustration of that creature and or character, so that way I can put it on the front side of my GM screen, so that way they have a visual representation of what they're facing off on. But it also helps me because they're playing in a world that I am creating. So this also allows me to create at least creatures that will belong in this world, and possibly even some characters that will belong in the world as well. But at least some of the creatures, I know that I can create those, and those can be an actual part of the world that I'm creating outside of the Pathfinder campaigns that I'm running, because everything is for the campaigns are homebrew, but this helps me be able to stay immersed into my world and actually get stuff done with my world building. So some stuff here. More of the tutorial stuff from the book. And then that's it. That is it. So that is all for Sketchbook 2. I hope you guys found this entertaining. And like I said, I just started Sketchbook 3 today. So here's Sketchbook 3. You know, once this gets done, then I'll do a tutorial on this one as well, or a walkthrough on this one as well. This sketchbook took me less than a year to finish. It took me probably, I want to say probably 11 months, or just under 11 months to complete. And this book, if you're interested in knowing what sketchbook this is a Talens Art Creation sketchbook, and these are the same size, and the size on this one is 5.1 by 8.3 inches. If you need centimeters, it's 13 centimeters by 21 centimeters. And then I do have the actual large ones that I'm using for my world building. I don't think it's going to fit on screen, but I do have the larger one. It's the same brand, Talens Art Creation. This is just the larger one, and I don't know, I don't have an actual size. I want to say it's almost like an 8.5 by 11, just slightly off. I know there's like the European paper sizes, so I'm not sure if it would be like considered an A4 or something else, but it's the larger one that they have. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you guys for watching this, and hopefully sticking along, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.